Yo, what's good? Four Quarters Podcast. We back, of course. You got your boy D Hump. And as always,
Your man Smitty, man. Happy New Year to the people out there, man. 2026. If y'all watching this, y'all still alive. So Happy New Year, man.
excellent, man. No doubt about it, man. So, Smiz, bro, we got a lot to cover. And let's start with the Wayne train versus Springfield that just happened. What was this, last Friday? This was
Last
that game?
Friday. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man, let's dive in, man. What you got for that?
Springfield versus Wayne, man. At Springfield. Always a good environment, man. A real physical game, but man, I hate to say this, man, but Wayne just wanted it more. They just took it from the field, man. Like they the game plan that they had for Springfield, it worked to perfection. I, if from the outside looking in, if you ask me, I think they focused on shutting down EJ and Charles. And not saying just letting Sherrod do whatever he want to do, but I mean, at this point, we all know Sherrod gonna get his buckets. So, but yeah, they forced EJ out. He was getting the ball at the 3-point line. Um, he ended up finishing the game with 6. Charles, he had 8, and 6 of his points was from the free throw line. They only had 4 scores total in the game, so only 4 people scored. Wayne, just like I said, they was more physical. They went 1-3-1. They pressed. They went 2-3. They was giving them different looks. Like they definitely followed their scouting report to a T. Um, they ended up winning by 13, 55-42. Um, the body language is on Springfield. I mean, they came out aggressive. They came out fired up. I mean, you don't got to get up for that game. You know what I'm saying? It's a rivalry game at this point. But just the physicality that Wayne played with, it was just like, I mean, it just seemed like Sherrod was the only one that kind of matched that. You know what I'm saying? They was on the board so heavy. Like Wayne, we missed a lot of bunnies, man, a lot of layups, but somebody was getting the rebounds. Like the second chance opportunities was just all night, all night. And yeah, man, it just was a lopsided game for real. Um Springfield, they lost last night, so right now they're on a 3-game losing skid, and man,
Well, I think what's interesting, man, is that you got Cunningham, who's a double digit scorer. I think he's around 13, 12, 14 points a game. EJ, also a double digit scorer, who's around 15, 16 points a game. Cunningham scores 8. Six of those points came from free throws. EJ scores 6. And then you've got, if I'm counting this correctly, they've got 5 players on Springfield that didn't score at all. Now, granted, maybe one or two of those players didn't get in the game at all, right? But I count at least 4 players that see the floor that didn't score at all. So, you know, I'm wondering, because I wasn't there, you were at that game, I was at another game, but is this a combination of Wayne's defense, which, I've talked about all year long, or is this just, okay, Springfield's kind of seeing some struggles and now it's starting to kind of trickle to the players, right? Obviously, the players have to play the game. So if Springfield's struggling, the players are struggling, but Springfield's been losing games for the past 3 games, but they still got, 3 of the top scorers in all of the GWOC. But these guys even scored under their averages. So, what do you think was the difference, when we see numbers like this?
that game specifically, that was just defense, man. Wayne, like I was telling you, Wayne wanted it more, man. They had their chest poked out all night. You know what I'm saying? They was just so physical. They was physical as hell, man. And like they just out toughed Springfield for real, man. I mean, it's crazy to say that because you normally don't hear that coming from
Not
a
at all.
Wayne team. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they play in Springfield, but they just out toughed them, man. I mean, that's just what it was. Bottom line, you know what I'm saying? They just went in there and just took over, man.
Well, everything you're saying lines up. You talk about the second chance opportunities, which is critical, right? Especially in a tight game. And it speaks to the grit or lack thereof from the field that particular night because it's like, you know, how come they're getting so many second chance opportunities when you got the athletes, you got the size, and I saw a little bit of this versus the Centerville game when Springfield plays Centerville, lots of second chance opportunities from Centerville because they're out rebounding them. And I think that's been a super continuous theme with Springfield this year is just kind of their trouble on the boards or just attacking the boards, especially against a team like Wayne, who's they're rebounders from the point guard, pretty much all the way up.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely one of their problems. And what we talked about last pod, they don't have many ball handlers.
Mhm.
So when you got somebody like Sherrod who, handles the ball, he's really their only primarily ball handler until CJ comes back, which he's hurt. I think he came back and assuming he got hurt again. So um he didn't play versus us, but yeah, it's kind of hard to run an offense like that when you only really got one person that could really create his own shot and create problems for the defense to help open up everybody else. Now, granted, if you get EJ the ball, he's going to attract a lot of attention to where you could kick it out. But if he's getting the ball at damn near the 3-point line, ain't really too much he could do. You know what I'm saying?
Tough.
So,
You can't have he.
right.
I love EJ's game. I think when I talk about Jaden McGraw from Fairmont potentially being GWOC Player of the Year, I feel that EJ has just as much, if not more, capability. I would say Jaden probably has more of a polished game, but I'm just saying all that to say how good EJ really is. So to see him only score six, and then kind of hear, some of the feedback that you're giving right now on how the game went, I'm just kind of like, waiting for, these guys to turn it around and start to play better ball. I mean, we're at the halfway point of the season pretty much. We still got a lot of time left, so I'm hoping they figure out a way to turn that around.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, man, I mean, what is that? We seen him play Centerville, and I seen him play against us. That's two. So we seen him play twice, two losses, kind of the same way in a sense. Um, lose to Northmont when they were up, and then yesterday they lose to Fairmont. So yesterday I read the article. I think they were up four at halftime. Your man McGraw scored 15 of his 16 points in the second half. I seen on GWalk they won by 6 or 8, but the newspaper article said they only won by 2. So I think the GWalk side is right. But it just sounds like I mean Fairmont came out and took it from them. I mean, like I said, I didn't see that game. I just read the newspaper article, and like you said, it's still early. You got a month and a half of ball left. So hopefully they could turn it around before going into February, because that's when things get serious. But I feel like there's not a lot of camaraderie in their locker room. You know what I'm saying? As far as the players, this has nothing to do with the coach. I don't think the players are gelling with each other, and that's a big deal. Like, I don't have no inside scoop. I haven't talked to nobody, but I mean, just looking at their roster, looking out there on the court, like I don't know who's really that vocal leader. I don't know who actually the leader, who's the guy that steps up and be vocal and I ain't gonna say
Bring
put
them
the
together.
team on the back, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, bringing
but
everybody together.
so
It's important.
that's that could be a problem there as well, man. Like I said, I don't know too much. I don't have no insight on Springfield, so this is just me on the outside looking in and chatter, typical chatter from Springfield, on like I said, we talked about the coaching, but we're not even going to dive into that. We're just going to talk about the players at this point because the coach can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? Even as players, you could have a players only meet and you could holler at your mans.
If you're serious. Yeah.
That's something I feel like they probably are losing as well. Yeah, hopefully they can turn it around, man. Hopefully they can turn it around. But as far as Wayne goes, Wayne's on a 7-game win streak. Yesterday we played Springboro and won by a buzzer beater. That should tell you what type of conference the GWOC is, to where you got a 500 team in Springboro, 4-4. I want to say I think were 2-3 in the conference, and you give the number one team in the conference a run for their money to where you win by a buzzer beater. I mean, they came out on fire. It was 12-0.
Mm.
We came out slow, no energy. Springboro has a lot of size, pause. They got a lot of big guys there. One of them's a sophomore, could shoot the shit out the ball. They had a big chunky cat at center. But they just wouldn't go away. They wouldn't go away. They was real scrappy. We climbed back in the game. Like I said, we went down 12-0. I really want to give a shout out to a few key players. One first is a KP, man, Caden Post. He had a big night last night. He had 29 points. Um, I can't look up the stats. Let me see if I could look up the
They're not ready
stats.
yet. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
but
looking at it
he
now.
he he probably went he probably hit 7 or 8 threes. Um Zoe, of course, he hit the buzzer beater, the number one play, Sports Center. Shout out for that. But just Zoe's a senior, and I'm not gonna say rough, but it was more so like trust the process type of career at Wayne. So to see him make that buzzer beater last night, it was like a full circle moment. Like he really deserved that. You know what I'm saying? He deserved that, and all the hype that he's getting from it. The ESPN number one play. I'm saying that's dope. My guy Mario, I forget it. I call him my adopted son. Junior guard. Kind of was going back and forth between JV and varsity. Recently, just went strictly varsity, and he went in there, man, in a crucial time of the game, and he got a big steal and got fouled and hit both free throws as well. So, and then there was another point in the game where he got another key steal. So, yeah, just shout out to Mario, man. He made the most of his minutes out there, and he in crunch time, and he probably earned himself some minutes, later on down the season or right now tournament time. I mean, he proved himself again, just like I was telling you all year. I've been speaking about, man. This team is just it's just a basketball team, bro. You know what I'm saying? They Shivers didn't really play the best games yesterday, but like the team made up for it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said you got KP with 29 points. You know what I'm saying? We kind of turned the ball over a lot. They was running a 1-3-1, and like I said, they were tall, they were long, pause, and you know what I'm saying, that 1-3-1, they got them arms out, and they everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They was everywhere. So we were kind of careless with the ball. I want to say probably might have been thinking about it too much, but we kept fighting, and it was kind of like going back and forth second half. I mean fourth quarter, and then we ended up taking the lead. And then of course you see that last play. I don't even know how the hell he got that open, but um,
Yeah, I
there was a
mean,
sequence where we were up five. I want to say a guy came down and got an and one. Now we're up two. I think we get fouled, go up three. Zay fouls a guy shooting a three. He makes two, misses one, and then they're down two. This when the layup happens, and then the bank three. So it was just a crazy, crazy sequence. But again, it was an ugly win. But you need wins like that. And again, just a good team win. And I might I don't want to speak too early, and I don't really want to put a lot of pressure on this team, but I kind of feel like they got that sneaky Centerville JP senior year run in them, to where like it'll shock a lot of people, because you know what I'm saying. You didn't think that team would have went to the state. They went to the state game. They were state runner up, and it was like when we went to the game. Of course, they didn't have an answer for Saint Ignatius, but they was there. You know what I'm saying? So I
well, they got
feel
a good
like
team that year, though. I mean, Saint
yeah,
Ignatius
yeah,
had
no,
some
they did. They definitely
the edge,
did.
but
But
that was
I
a
didn't
winnable
think
game,
Centerville. We didn't think Centerville was going to go that far.
no doubt. But they had the talent for sure. You know what I mean? I think Wayne has the talent. I mean, we've seen quite a few teams, and I can't really definitively say that I've seen too many teams that are just clear cut better than Wayne. We'll jump to this game a little later on. Obviously, I watched the Lakota West Lima Senior game. Major talent, major talent. But I still didn't just see like, they would come in and punish Wayne. I think Wayne, depending on the situation, depending on the night, probably could beat a team like that. So again, I think you're on to something that, Wayne's got a nice special roster right now. You've got a team of 7 players, 8 players that can hit the floor and on any given night produce. So I think they're going to be they're off to. I mean, for this first half of the season, I mean, it's about as hot as you can get, man.
No, for
Um,
sure.
let's talk a little bit about and I want to talk about this team a little bit later on as well. But let's talk about Northmont versus Fairmont. I don't think either of us were at that game, but
No.
just kind of pulling up the stats a little bit. Let me see here. Northmont. I just had it up too. That's what's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
why when you was talking about hot,
Yeah.
I was just about to say like shit, Northmont. Shit, you gotta
So
talk about Northmont. They're on a 7-game win streak as well.
100%, man. And they've got, they played Northmont, and Northmont, depending on your setup, Northmont can give you some trouble because they
Well,
got a
Northmont
big
got a
over
new
there.
coach too.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
um this is definitely game of the week, man. Northmont versus Wayne.
Oh my God. Critical.
There's a 3-way tie: Centerville, Northmont, Wayne, and for the GWOC, I want to say we win this. We got to be solely number one because we beat Centerville head to
Well, I
head.
think that'll be a clear cut number one for
Um,
sure.
but I mean, just from what I haven't heard much about Northmont, but I mean, they were down 17-2 versus Springfield and came back and won that game. So that just shows they got grit. Um, I know they probably have a few seniors, but I think they're quite young. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. They rolling right now. So
Well, man, you check them
whatever
out.
they got going on over there it got to be working.
Right. I mean, you check them out against this Fairmont team. You got, one cat had 14, the other guy had 13 points. Another guy had 12. Then you
How
got a
much did Chisholm
17.
have?
Chisholm had Chisholm had 13 points and 3 blocks and 9 rebounds. So,
How many did Bryce have? I don't know his last name.
Bryson only had 3 points that game.
Bryson, okay. He's a
Yeah,
young guard. I want to say I think he might be a sophomore.
he didn't shoot a lot. He shot 5 shots. He was 1 for 5. Went 1 for 4 from the free throw line, so that kind of hurt the stats a little bit. But again, they spread that scoring around a little bit versus Fairmont. No, the thing is, Fairmont only lost by 3 points, but you got the guy Jaden with 20, Sawyer Newman with 16, and then you kind of just lightly spread all the points around, but Fairmont is always going to go as Jaden goes. So that is an interesting matchup because Chisholm is a big man, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think he's very big. I want to say he might be around maybe 6'2", 6'3", maybe a little bit taller.
Right.
I
So
mean, I don't think he's too much taller than that.
Right. So him and Jaden are around the same size. And for what I see, if you ain't a true big man that can knock Jaden McGraw around from Fairmont, he's probably gonna give you the business.
Nah, for sure. I mean,
You know what
we seen what somebody overly matched could do with him.
For
So
sure. If you don't got the size to contain him, he's gonna overwhelm you. Especially especially if he gets confident. So, but again, Northmont's taking care of serious business right now, man. They're a real threat. I think after that Northmont game versus Fairmont, I think it was Centerville versus Moeller.
Moeller. Yeah, Centerville beats Moeller. So this is interesting. So you got a Centerville team that's lost twice. One of them is a 20-point loss. Well, I don't think it was 20 at the end, but you got a bad loss to Wayne, and then they kind of been on a nice little,
GWOC only lost one game.
little rise. So I feel like Centerville is figuring it out, and at the same time, Centerville has a crazy schedule. I mean, they're about to play St. Ignatius this Saturday, and it's just like they just played Moeller last week. They played Wyoming. They play St. Ignatius, and then they turn around and play somebody from Indiana and fly into the hoop next week. So
Yeah.
besides this GWOC, Centerville is going to be ready to play in February. Like you said last week, like you look at the schedule and you look at they losses, and it's just like, man, this team playing the best of the best, man. Like
For sure. I mean, you look at that.
outside the GWOC, they're trying to go get the best of the best, man.
Well, think about this though. It's interesting. You got Northmont on a 7-game win streak. You got Northmont versus Centerville, which I believe was week 2, and Centerville won by 1 point. The score was 40-39. So I mean, you're talking about a very low scoring competitive game. You go up a couple weeks and you play Wayne. And again, and I've said this before, I'm so anxious to see Wayne versus Centerville part 2. Because I think that although Wayne is the clear-cut number 1 in the GWOC right now, I think the second time they play Centerville is going to be a different game. Wayne got out on Centerville so fast, and Wayne, if they get hot and they get out on you, your game's pretty much over. I mean, it would take, I'm not going to say a miracle for you to come back, but it's too tough. You got a good defense.
That was unexpected. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected that.
So they go out on them they were actually up almost 30 points at one point. You got 3-point shooters. You got an aggressive defense. Then they went to a zone and just completely threw Centerville off. So, Wayne played almost a perfect game against Centerville, and they smacked them by 20. But, you're looking at this Moeller game, again, you talk about they play Wayne. We already know about the GWOC. They played Northmont, won by 1 point. Northmont happens to be on a 7-game win streak. When they play Centerville again, if they match up with those guys again, could be a completely different game. That's just how the GWOC goes. And you go see Wyoming, tough, right? They beat Centerville. Then Centerville plays Moeller. Moeller, puts a little bit of a smackdown on Moeller, nothing crazy, but they were up by 12. Um, I do think, to your point, that Centerville is also trending. You have a number 1 Wayne, a number 2 Northmont, and a number 3 Centerville. And if I'm in the playoffs, I don't know if I want to see either of those teams at
No,
this
for
point.
sure.
You
No,
know, they're all trending, they're all hot right now, and they've all got the talent, and they've all got a solid team. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just very interesting. So, when you look at this Moeller game, again, you got Sam Keeley, who was their big, athletic big, 12 points. Julian Sam, I think the last 2 weeks is Julian Sam, who, if people don't know who he is, he's a freshman. He's about 6'7", 6'8", freshman. Kid's got a ton of upside. He had 15 last week. And Julian was starting to struggle a little bit. Didn't play well against Wayne. He was totally just flustered against Wayne. Didn't really play all that hot against Springfield. He kind of struggled. He struggled big time against Fairmont. That was the Jade McGraw show. He just took that over, and they really couldn't do anything with him. But you see this freshman now starting to trend. He had 15 last week. His brother Trey had 16. Um, that I guess that is the way it goes. We're now starting to get to the mid-mark of the season, and these teams are starting to gel and they're starting to heat up. So I'm really interested to see how Centerville plays the rest of the year. The next 2 games, they might lose. No disrespect to Centerville, but they schedule the craziest schedule in the
no, for
land.
sure. No,
Okay.
for sure.
So they might not win these next 2 games, but the thing about Centerville, and Coach Render brought this up last week, and this is a tribute to Cups as well, is they schedule the stud muffins. They schedule the talent. So when you get to game 21, which is the first round of the playoffs, they've seen it all.
No, for sure.
What can you do to me? What can you show me? I've seen it all. So very interested to see how that plays out, man. Now, let's transition a little bit. We had Field versus Fairmont. See, this is the GWOC in a nutshell. One day, the Field has to go play Wayne. Another day, the Field has to go play a Fairmont. And then they got to go play at Northmont. I mean, the GWOC is just like that. You just said just a minute ago, it took y'all to hit a game winner against Springboro, who we didn't think would touch y'all. So now Springfield has to go play Wayne, and when you pull up the game, Wayne gets out on him, beats him 54-46.
Fairmont.
Fairmont beats him 54-46. And I don't have the Fairmont stats here. Again, it's the usual suspects. Sherrod Lay scores 20 points. You got Burkhart scoring 4. You got Emmanuel Carey scoring 2. Cunningham 7 points again. We're 6-7 points under our average. Okay. You got EJ Rice scoring 10. There we go again. We got 6-7 points under our average. I would love to see what the stat line for Jaden McGraw, but if Fairmont wins,
He had 16. He scored 15 though in the
in the
second
second
half.
half,
So he only
right?
had one. So I'm confused on what they did different in the second half than the first. Because if you done held him in the first 1 point in the first half,
Right.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, I think that's a two-way street. You got one part of that scenario that Springfield can control, but you were a player. You know how it is. When a guy gets going, what can you do? You
No,
can
that's a
hold
fact.
a great player in the first half, but can you hold him all 4 quarters?
Right.
That's a different ball game. So again, Springfield gets to this game, and it's another L. And Fairmont is slowly building its confidence up after that Tri-Village game.
Yeah, and I think they lost to. I want to say they was on a losing streak. So I'm trying to think of who else Northmont, didn't they? Yeah, I think they lost to Northmont.
checking it out. Northmont beat them by 3 points.
Yeah, when last was Friday?
January 2nd, so this was Friday.
Yeah, last Friday. So yeah, they was on a them in Springfield was fighting for that losing streak. And so yeah, GWOC is interesting right now. There's 3 top teams. Centerville, Northmont, and Wayne, and 2 of them play Friday. And
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Wayne versus Northmont. To me, that's the showdown.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know nothing about Northmont, bro.
Yeah, that's the showdown, man.
There's nothing I could, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know that from the sounds of it, it sounds like they pretty much one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't seem like they got one player that's going to give a ton of points. I mean, they got scores of 50 to 49, so that they got to be playing defense.
For sure.
So
40 to
yeah, I mean,
39. Yeah.
I feel like they probably one and the same. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny because I don't really know who has the momentum at this point. Wayne is on a 6-5, 6-7 game winning streak. Northmont is on a 7-game winning streak. You know, this should be, again, a showdown. Both of these guys are steaming fully ahead, winning games, beating solid teams. And, you know, if I was to give anyone the edge, I would probably just say Wayne, simply because they beat Centerville by 20, where Northmont lost by 1. So I give Wayne the slight edge on that, but I'm completely blind because I haven't seen Northmont. But I gotta keep it real, man. What they're doing right now lets me know that this is a real threat that you're going to go up against.
It's kind of like the Lima Senior versus Lakota West with no stars.
Right,
That
for sure.
it should have that height. You know what I'm saying? If each team have a star, this would be the game to go to on Friday night. This would be the game to go to. You know what I'm saying? So this definitely has the hype and build up of that game just without the stars. No disrespect to anybody. I'm just saying,
Right,
like,
right.
you got a stud or two on either one of these teams or both of these teams, and this is easily going to be a sellout game. A game that's going to sell out. I
Right.
still feel like it'll probably be a big game around the area. It might sell out or it might be close.
Well, that's the whole north side of Dayton. I think that has a good chance of selling out. I really do. And if it doesn't sell out, it's going to be a super packed crowd because Northmont's got to be excited. I don't
For
recall
sure.
Northmont being hyped up like this in a little bit. So Northmont's got to be excited. Wayne is on a high right now. You pointed out the other day, hitting that 70-foot last-minute shot. They've won every type of way you can think of, which
No, for
shows a
sure.
lot of resilience, a lot of poise, shows these guys are tough. So I'm very excited for this game. And then a couple things before we transition into some of the other games outside of the GWOC. One, Springfield's got to figure something out quick because just like I know the schedule's not going to get easier. All these teams that they're playing right now, they're all improving, and you're starting to see Springfield go on a dip. So they really got to figure it out, or this
I
season.
know they got Northridge late in the season.
I mean, that's another team that they got a freaking monster on there. So bring your lunch.
Yeah, they definitely.
It's going to be tough, man. And then the second thing too, before we get out of the GWOC, we talked about Wayne, we talked about Northmont. You cannot sleep on Centerville right now. They might have some trouble this next 2 games, playing St. Iggy, who's ridiculous, and then playing
Team out of Indiana.
Yeah, Fisher's out of Indiana. But again, Centerville has enough to be dangerous. I don't know if anybody's going to come in there and just annihilate them. Wayne did, but I don't know if that's just going to continue to happen. You know what I mean? Wayne is that good, and they can get out on you that fast. So GWOC's heating up, man. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. We got Wayne, Northmont, And then the next day we got Centerville St. Iggy. So big basketball action for the GWOC this week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's talk real quick about while you were enjoying yourself at the Wayne Springfield game, I ventured over to Trotwood to watch Trotwood play Alter. Now, we've been hearing all year long about both teams. We've been hearing, that Alter was tough. Alter was obviously tough last year, right? They went to the state, Division II.
I want to say they won it.
I was going to say, did they won the state?
Yeah, I think they won it.
Oh, okay. So they win the state. They went to the state, I think, because I think football they went to the state, and I think they went to the state in basketball. I don't know if they won it though, but they could have, and that'll be on us to kind of fact check that. But we're talking about an all-state potential team in Division II basketball. But then you keep hearing about Trotwood. I remember we were talking a couple weeks back. Who's the best in Dayton? Is it Wayne? Is it Dunbar? Is it Trotwood? Who is Dayton's premier team? So I finally got a chance to lay eyes on Trotwood, and I'm telling you, Smitty, man, I'm going to talk to you about the Lakota West Lima game here in a second. But outside of that Lima game, this was the best game that I went to. Both teams, they got talent, well-balanced teams. These are basketball teams. These aren't teams with a star here, a star there. Like a Fairmont, you got one main star, and then you got some guys that'll kind of contribute. There were hoopers everywhere. Trotwood, excellent guards. I got a cat named Jacarius Reeves, who's kind of like a Sherrod Lay. He can get to the bucket anytime he wants. He can shoot the three. Little sturdy cat. He's averaging about 17 points a game. Then they got a kid named Davion Arnold, who had 20 points against Alter, and he's a shooter. He's kind of like a Cunningham, but I'm telling you, man, the way Trotwood runs their offense, it's a nice offense. There's a lot of good movement. The ball don't stick around. They're getting open shots. And this cat had 20. The player of the game was this cat named, his last name's Taylor. He's a big man.
Justice Taylor.
Justice Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Justice Taylor is about 6'4", 6'5", buff young cat. And from what I understand, he's also a defensive end, and it makes sense.
He's a football player.
He's a football guy. But this guy was really good around the rim, very aggressive, rebound, had a couple dunks, couple tips. And, man, you're talking about a Trotwood team, in that starting lineup, they got a little bit of everything. They even got a guy in the paint, I forget his name, number 23. Kind of reminds me of an old school Larry Johnson. Kind of post up, get the ball, kind of, under the foul line, make a couple moves, get to the rim and one. Just all around good team. Now let's talk about Alter real quick before I go into the game. Alter's got the same thing. They got 3 or 4 people out there that can shoot the three. They got tough guards. It's a little different. I give Centerville a lot of flack because they got good guards, but I don't see any aggressiveness to the paint. But Alter's a little different. Everybody that's a guard on that team don't mind getting to that rim. Not just getting to the rim and finishing, getting to the rim and pass. They're aggressive towards the basket, and they all strap. But the player to watch, the player to pay attention to, the player to really keep on your radar is a freshman guard by the name of William Piegler Jr. This guy, listen, Smith, you told me about him. You told me about him. You tried to tell me this guy, he had 20 points. Listen, man, you're talking about a guy who's playing with a cadence and playing under control. You don't see freshmen do that. You don't see freshmen. It's like he'd been here before. I know not to force this ball over here. I know not to throw that pass. I know when to drive to the cup. I know when to pull the J. I know how to use my body around the rim. He's a stud, and he's already got a Division I offer. And I'm not trying to overly pump this cat up, but you could tell that he's got a game and he could probably play at the college level right now. And it's not just his talent. Again, it's his poise and the way he plays the game, the cadence at the way he plays. And you know what I'm talking about when a guy just has a feel for a game where he doesn't force things, he gets open, he makes plays. I was very impressed with this guy. But this game came down to the wire. Let me pull up my stats real quick. I think the game ended up being 85-80. High scoring game. Neither team could really be stopped, but just talent everywhere. Honestly, man, both I believe are Division II squads. They may see each other again, and I'll be at that game. That's how good of a game this was. They may see each other again. I'll be sure to be at that game, and I don't know if Trotwood beats them again. There were a
Damn,
couple
for
times.
real?
Well, there was a couple times again in that game where Alter kind of shot themselves in the foot. But you got to give credit to Trotwood because, again, that's just not an athletic, talented team. That team is well coached. They got a nice offensive system over there. They got a big man. I love the way they play. They earned every bit of that victory. Every bit of that victory. Every time Alter made a play, Trotwood made 2 plays. So again, man, this was outside of Lakota West versus Lima, which we'll talk about here in a minute. This is probably the best game that I've been to. I was not disappointed with either team. Neither team was hyped up. They were just as good as advertised. I'm very excited to see what they do in Division II basketball.
No, that's what's up. Yeah, you definitely talk highly about that game. Of course, you know why I couldn't be there. I was at a good game myself. You definitely talked highly about that game. Both teams as well. Like you said it could have went either way. And you definitely said Walter kind of, I ain't gonna say gave it away, but they definitely had their opportunities to win that game and
Definitely have some
just didn't get it
opportunities,
done.
man. Yeah,
So
yeah.
are they young? Do they got a lot of seniors? Like, do you know any of that information?
I mean, I had the roster pulled up, man. Let me see if I can pull that back up real quick. And you asking about Trotwood or you asking about Alter?
Alter. I think Trotwood is kind of senior heavy.
Pull these guys up real quick. So Alter's roster here. Check these guys out, man. Ha! Come on, Max Preps, man. Don't do me like that. Do me like that. I got you right here. So I have to go to their conference page. Go, GCL. Man, why when I click the GCL, it takes me to the GWOC? See here, GCL. Talk about these guys. So let's look at this roster real quick. So they got only 2, no, they got quite a bit of seniors. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seniors. Obviously, the William Piegler cat is a freshman. Let me see my notes real quick. I'll tell you the players that were studs, man, that I saw. They got number 11 is a senior. He was pretty good. Big man that could shoot. They got number 3, Peyton Bakos. He's a junior. Nice little guard. Got a nice little handle, quick, pull the 3. Number 0 is a junior. Another nice little guard. Number 4, hey, listen, man, they got a nice little squad coming back next year, Smitty. I
So
ain't gonna hold
they
you.
should be on our radar for next year.
Oh yeah, they gotta be on that radar again. And then you got the Piegler boy, who's obviously still sweet. They got a 6'7" sophomore on the bench. I don't think he played too much when I was there. He's 6'7" sophomore. So man, if this guy's improving his game, getting better, like I said, man, he's Alter's going to be a force again. And I don't know what they're bringing in. It's a Catholic school. They get transfers
Right.
all the time. So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you right now, be on the lookout for Alter. Now let's look at real quick. Let's look at Trotwood. Just check him out real quick.
What did Corey do? want to say he might have been number 3. I want to say.
I don't got a number 3. Yeah, let me check it out real quick. Okay, I got it. What? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I couldn't find Trotwood Madison at all. And they keep wanting to put him in a GWOC.
Yeah, that's slow.
Yeah. So you said number 3, Karan Foster?
What you say his name is?
Is it Karen or Karan? Karan?
Kari.
Mm.
Yeah. Guard.
So number 3, I didn't really see him do too much. You know what I mean? The guys that I saw that stood out is a senior named Jacarius Reeves, 5'9".
That's who it is. Jakari. Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah, he's tough.
All right.
He's tough. He's averaging 17 a game. He had a really good game that game. He just get to the basket, kind of like a Sherrod Lay, just a little bit different. You could tell Sherrod's a hooper, but I think Sherrod is such a good athlete that he could pretty much do anything. Where Jacarius is similar, but Jacarius seems like he's a bona fide basketball player. I don't know if he played football or how good he was.
Gotcha.
But he's also very athletic, twitchy, can get to the rim. The cat Davion Arnold, he's a senior too. I think they're losing all their best players. Shooter, kind of like
Light
a
skin.
Cunningham. Yeah, light skinned cat.
Okay.
Scrap. Let me see who else was the guys for these guys. Number 23. He's a junior. Darius Dennis. He was kind of like
okay. Yeah.
yeah, he's like a guard forward. He's like I can dribble, I can play on the outside, but I like to kind of bust it up in the paint a little bit, post you up, you know what I'm saying, use my moves, get to the rim. He's aggressive, man. He has some big buckets for them for sure. And then they got a cat, number 24, I think, yeah, he's a senior. Big man, Justice Taylor. But then they got this one cat that came off the bench, number 12, man. I think his name is Rylan Dawson. He's a senior too, man. He's more of a hustler type dude, but he was really a game changer. He was crazy on the boards. He hit a couple layups, went to the foul line. I don't think they win that game without him. He gave them a different element, almost like a Ben Wallace type. Lots of hustle, very gritty. He was a tough cat, but it looks like according to the roster, Trotwood's probably going to lose a lot, man. This is probably, if they're going to make a run, if they're going to do something, this is probably a year that they can go ahead and do that.
Got you.
With the talent they got. Yeah. So, man, we could talk a little bit because I know we got to talk about the rankings real quick, but we can go ahead and go into the game of the week, in my opinion. Maybe game of the year.
That's you, man.
Yeah.
That's all you, man.
We'll talk about that a little bit. So, I had the privilege to watch Lakota West versus Lima Senior. And, right off the bat, you're just talking about star-studded talent. You got a cat, Bryce Curry. Some people have him at a 3-star. Some people have him at a 5-star already. Some about a kid that's 6'4", 6'5". Length. He's aggressive to the rim. He can shoot the 3. I talked about it earlier with the altar boy, William Piegler. Very similar with the Bryce Curry guy, where he's this young guard who's only a sophomore. But again, he's got a natural feel for the game. He doesn't look rushed. He doesn't look out of control. He's aggressive to the rim. He's not one of these new era guys that they're just in love with the three-point line. He's just a stud player. And then you've got his man, Josh Tyson, another cooker, another guard who's a 3-star, 4-star player. Quick, shifty guy, get to the rim, shoot the 3.
Dunk on your ass too.
Yeah, he's a high flyer. I mean, he's just tough. Now let's talk a little bit before we dive into the game. Let's talk about Lima. When you go into this game, you're really hearing a lot of the hype around Lakota and their guys because they're 4-star, 3-4-star guys, right? 2 of them legitimately, depending on who you ask, are 4-star players. But then you go to Lima Senior, and they've got the Foster cousins. You got a Willie Foster and you got a Sean Foster. Now, I think neither of these guys have the hype that Curry and Tyson have. But when you watch the game, they're competing with these Lakota boys, and depending on who you ask, may have closely outplayed them, right? You got Willie Foster, who finished up with 19 points. This guy right here is kind of like he'll dunk on you like a Russell Westbrook. He'll punch on you. He'll catch it off the rim. He'll windmill.
Oh, you're definitely a high flyer.
You know what I mean? You're talking about a high flyer. But what really impressed me about his game was his mid-range game. He can hit the three. He can get to the rim and do whatever he wants. But he was stopping and popping. And it's like, again, I'm not a college scout, right? I don't know that level of basketball to tell you when you get to my Division I program what type of guard I'm looking for. But if you make Tyson a 4-star player or you make Curry a 4-star player, then this kid, Willie, got to be somewhere around a 3 or 4 as well. I mean, I'm telling you, Smitty, he got it all. And then you got the other Foster who kind of had
Sean.
Sean didn't have quite the game that Willie did. I think, again, we talked about this a lot. There's only one basketball. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody, if you in your groove and you're a guard and you going crazy, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to match you on the same team going crazy again because it's one basketball. But I feel like Sean quietly has 16 points, but big shots. You could tell he could hit the three. You could tell he can get to the rim, and you could tell he, just like his cousin, he'll punch on you. Another high flyer, maybe not quite as high as Willie, but Sean will punch on you. So again, when I look at this matchup, you got the 4-star guards versus the 2 or the lesser star guards, but I couldn't tell who was really better. I think Willie and Sean are just as good as the guards for Lakota. But the game came down to the wire. Lakota ended up winning 68-66. The one thing I can say about Lakota is, man, the coaching is pretty much flawless. They remind me of Drew Joyce out of St. Vincent St. Mary. The team never looks out of control. They never look rattled. It's hard to coach talent. Not everybody can coach talent. We've talked about this a dozen times over this year where we see talented teams that are losing. Not everybody knows how to make talent work together. I never see Lakota out of sorts. Defensively, they're where they need to be. They play different sets, threw Lima off. To be real, this was a game Lima could have won easily. Lots of mistakes. I'm talking about very fundamental things that you won't see Lakota do, like not getting back. Willie Foster shoot a three. He go try to get his own rebound. Nobody gets back, wide open layup for Lakota. That happened like 4 or 5 times during the game. Critical turnovers. Falling asleep and, somebody get a layup. You know what I'm saying? Offensive second opportunities. And they still only lose by 2 points. It's a shame that these guys on Lima's side are D2. I've got them winning the state D2. I need to see more Division II teams, but I think that's probably going to be as good as it gets, in my opinion. But it's a shame they're not Division I because I would love to see Lakota versus Lima one more time. I just need to see that game one more time because, again, Lakota goes to Lima, which is a tough place to play for anybody. They win by 2. Fantastic, but I thought that was Lima's game, man. I really did. I loved the way the guards played. I loved the way the supporting cast came out and played. Just, Lakota's tough, and they won. So, I can't take anything from those guys. But just a great game all around, man. I'd love to see him play again. Obviously, I paid for the first game. To tell you how much I'd like to see him play again, I'd probably play double or triple for the second game. That's how good of a game it was.
No, that's what's up. I seen Frost at our game yesterday, and he said the atmosphere was crazy. He said it lived up to the hype. I seen it on a few people's Facebook stories, and I was just like, man, like one of my cousins went, they was like, man, this low key remind me of when y'all played in Tiffany. So I was like, damn, if it had that type of feeling, then.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously I watched it on TV, but when you look at the camera angles, it was packed. They had a nice light show to introduce the players. I mean, I was very impressed with Lima. Very impressed with what they got going on. Not the Lima High School that we used to go to, even though
Oh
those are
hell
great.
no.
But there's definitely been some money flow through the school because
For
it's
sure.
a little different than when we went. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just a special game, man. So this week was a great week of basketball. Obviously, GWOC was star studded. I got to see two really good games: Alter Trotwood, Lakota West versus Lima Senior. Super excited about this weekend. And we're just going to keep it rocking, man. It's been a great season. Shouting out a lot of players, giving a lot of attention and energy to players that may not get a lot of pub. You know, you and I, we played basketball for years. You know, we've been fans of basketball and sports in general forever. So I feel like we got a good eye for talent. And I think that right now, what you're starting to see with the podcast and everything that we're doing is we're starting to shout some kids out that may be overlooked. You look at that Max Preps rankings, and I ain't trying to call no teams out, but I don't know if some of these sources really got their finger to the pulse of the talent and the finger to the pulse of who's really a cooker out there. And, you know, like I said, man, I'm seeing some different things. So if people are starting to tune in, man, just keep sticking with us, keep tuning in, keep looking out, man. A lot of you players, yeah, man, you might pop up, man, because again, man, we don't you know, we like the stars. You know, we respect 5-star, we respect 4-star, but if you a cooker, you a cooker.
You
Stars or
cooker,
not.
you gotta be in that kitchen, man.
So for sure.
But we definitely got to try to look out for our. I got a little birdie that Lima Senior and Princeton are trying to lock in a game. So
Oh,
hopefully that's on a
oh my.
day that I can attend. And but yeah, that's the word. I got word that they trying to lock a game in this season. So we'll see.
Gee. Well, I'll tell you what, man, you know, I will do my best to be there. You might have a little more trouble than me, but I may have to pull up.
No, that definitely sounds like it'll be a good game for sure.
All right, man. I got nothing else, man. We got some stank rankings, but maybe we can put out a little post for our state rankings. I see what they got going on, and again, I'm not going to be too critical. I don't want to hate on nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they got that correct.
Yeah. I got a few questions, but again, I haven't seen a lot of teams play, so I I mean it is what it is until tournament time.
For sure.
Until
For sure.
tournament time.
For sure, man. All right, man. Four Quarters Podcast signing off, man. Another great episode. Until next time, y'all.
You already know.
Yes, sir.